Hi, my name is Hillal, and I want to tell you something positive about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi was the best Star Wars that has ever been made. Oh good, I got your attention. Of course, I don't think Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie ever made. Personally, my favorite Star Wars movie is The Empire Strikes Back, a sentiment shared by many of the fans of this series, who at the same time may view this movie as the most hated of the previous 8, including Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. But I'm willing to bet there's at least a few of you who actually liked The Last Jedi. Me? I enjoyed it. Originally, when I sat down to write out my thoughts about Last Jedi, I was going to go into a long dissertation about it and try to make a lot of good and valid arguments about why it's better than people give it credit for. But then I realized that watching me drone on about how amazing I thought Last Jedi was would be about as fun as watching any other mouth breather go on about how bad it was. So instead, I'm going to pick the one, maybe 2 biggest points, drill down a little on those, and see if I can say something positive about the movie without making this a 2-hour video. First, I'm going to focus on the character of Rose. As one of the most least liked characters in the Star Wars universe for some reason, I wanted to see if I could change someone's mind about the character. For the record, I really like Rose. When she first appeared on screen, I didn't quite know how she was going to fit into the larger mythology of the universe. For a brief moment, we're given a glimpse into what I can only assume is a tragic backstory of growing up in the dregs of society while the wealthy elite profit from her work and keep her family down in the mud. Her relationship with Finn is given a full, albeit very unnatural feeling arc, where she essentially tells Finn that she loves him romantically. This throws a monkey wrench in my Rey and Finn end up together theory. It's obvious by the end of Force Awakens that Rey and Finn love each other. Not in the romantic Han and Leia way, but in a best friend way, like a Lando and Lobot way. The bond between Rey and Finn is undeniably strong. It's cemented in stone in Force Awakens when they reunite on Starkiller Base. Finn made the brave choice to return to the base of the First Order, and Rey was elated to know that someone would actually come back for her. So it's easy to accept Finn's apparent motivation for making sure that not only does Rey get back, but that she gets back safely. Because of the homing beacon Leia carries, there's a better than average chance that if Rey does return, she'll just be thrust into more danger. Finn on the surface wants to be heroic and leave the Resistance so that when Rey returns, it's to safety instead of peril. But Finn only knows how to be Finn. He hasn't changed too much from when we met him in Force Awakens. Finn is capable of great courage and heroism, but he is still wrestling with a tremendous amount of fear. For Finn, it's easier to run away from the fight than to go towards it. In Force Awakens, it was his decision to abandon the First Order. And in Last Jedi, it was his decision to abandon the Resistance. Both choices have varying motivations, but the characteristic selfishness and cowardice he wrestles with definitely shows. Through the intervention of Rose, he decides to stay and continue being a tool for the Resistance, if only to serve his goals at first. 1. Get away from the conflict. 2. Make sure Rey is safe. The hero Finn could be begins to reveal itself, finally, towards the end of the movie. But again, his goals are altered by a more determined Rose. In 2 separate movies, he has shared 2 adventures with 2 different women who are stronger and more resilient than anyone would have guessed at first. They are both also stubborn and self-sacrificing to a fault, and have faith in the greater good of the universe. Rey is able to make Finn act courageously, but Rose is the one who gets him to act selflessly. When they're on Canto Bight, and Finn is being seduced by the apparent beauty of the place, he's almost forgotten why he was there in the first place. Ultimate goal, to save Rey. He's ready to give it up and stay on the casino forever. Rose is able to get him, for the first time in his life probably, to look below the surface of what he's being presented. Both Rey and Rose also have strong feelings for Finn. He and Rey have a bond forged from adversity and trust. He had let Rey down in the past, and it nearly killed him to correct that mistake. Rey values her friendship with him, second only to her determination to eliminate the First Order. Rose outright proclaims her love for him at the end of Last Jedi. Having shared this new adventure with him and truly watching him mature into a hero and a leader, it is undeniable that she wants to be a part of his new life. It will be exciting to see how these emotions play out and whether there are feelings that are mutual or not between the characters. Will Rey be jealous of the relationship Finn and Rose have forged? Will Rose shrink away when she witnesses the bond between Finn and Rey? Will there be a third woman with R-letter first name vying for his attention? Time will tell. What is also interesting about Rose, and why I think she's severely underestimated as a character, is that her purpose to Last Jedi is the exact same purpose Finn had in Force Awakens. Rose, to me, is the audience's point of view in the movie. We are supposed to identify with Rose, and thus put ourselves directly into the world and into the midst of what's going on. This was Finn's role in Force Awakens, but he served more as an, gosh, what's Star Wars point of view. For people who had either never seen Star Wars before, or had been so burned by the prequel trilogy that they had no idea what the heck was going on with his new one. Finn was the perfect, here's what's happening guy. Now we have Rose, who I identify with more than I ever did with Finn. Rose, to me, is the fan who watches Star Wars and all the heroic deeds of people in relatable or extreme circumstances and becomes inspired by them. Inspired to the point of standing up and doing something about the situations you find yourself in. I completely identify with that. After watching a movie where good stands up to evil, I become inspired. When sacrifice is made for the love of people or the greater good, I feel bolder. I want to help that hero, or at least take a part of the lesson and apply it as best I can to the life I have. To me, Rose is the fan who finally gets to go on the adventure with the hero. She's so overwhelmed at meeting the legendary Finn, and when he says, "May the Force be with you," to her, I would honestly have the same reaction she did. I love Rose for that. So much so that we have her action figure on our wall. And I know you wouldn't believe me unless I showed you, so Rose's reaction to meeting Finn is pretty much my reaction when I meet people who mean a lot to me. And in many ways, the disappointment she feels when the person you looked up to isn't such a good person after all is bitingly, cruelly, bitterly real. Lou Ferrigno. Very early in the movie, Rose loses her sister Paige in a supreme act of self-sacrifice. Desiring to be just as courageous as her sister, Rose pushes herself into increasingly dangerous situations in her desire to either emulate her sister or honor her. It's not clear which she's attempting. Anyone who has ever suffered through the tragic loss of a loved one, I'm sure can relate in some way. But Rose, God bless her, is like the fan in many ways, except one huge, major, vastly superior way. She is ever the optimist. And that is where she veers so completely away from anyone trying to enter the movie through her eyes that I imagine it would be uncomfortable to enjoy her performance. Like trying to fit a size 13 foot into a size 10 shoe. In case you haven't seen many of the people who call themselves Star Wars fans, they don't really have a lot of positive things to say about anything related to Star Wars. So much so, I wonder why they keep coming to the movies. Rose is ever hopeful and presses on, even in the darkest times, with her belief in the Resistance and her faith in the good of the universe. And that, my friends, is why I love Rose and why I absolutely and unabashedly love The Last Jedi. My name is Hillal. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.